Okay, perfect. Thanks for joining us for another webinar from the AWP Community of Practice. This webinar featuring iConstruct is going to be delivered by Mark Mehta. I'll let him introduce himself, and Lloyd is going to introduce the webinar to us before we get going. So Lloyd, I'll pass it over to you.
Well, thanks very much, Steve. We'd like to thank everybody for coming to the Community of Practice webinar series. And I just have a little bit of information about the Community of Practice and some upcoming events, and then I'll flip it over to Mark. We have now officially settled on the vision for the AWP Community of Practice, and that is construction that is safer, more effective, and more efficient. And you'll see on this slide, we've got a link to the group itself. If you have not joined the Community of Practice, we really think it would be beneficial if you did. We'll keep you updated on the upcoming webinars, but also we've just instituted a discount that's available to COP members for the CII virtual summit that I'm going to be talking about. And there's no cost to join the Community of Practice, and there's benefits to belonging. So now let's look at our mission. Really, we're trying to create a community where we share knowledge, encourage discussion, and promote the adoption of advanced work packaging and other construction-related productivity initiatives. And we're setting up other chapters around the world. The South American chapter has now been formed. It's starting to open up for membership. In the first 3 days, they had 175 members. And I know by the time they officially open, you're going to have a robust group in South America. So in future webinars, we'll be providing information, and we strongly recommend you join their group as well. We have a survey that we are recommending people go in and fill out. We've had it up now for a couple of weeks, and we've had some responses, but not nearly as many as we would like. If you go to the Community of Practice webpage, you're going to see the survey. Please take a few minutes to fill it out. It's going to help us give you the kind of information and programming that you require. And then the virtual summit. The virtual summit is, I'm really excited about this because CII has asked Group ASI to help put together the virtual summit. We've got 5 teams that are going to be reporting out, and these teams have been working from 1 to 2 years researching AWP related topics and coming up with recommendations on how to improve your AWP systems. So I know personally I'm really looking forward to participating in the event. Could I back that up for 1 second? You'll note that this is a 2-day session. For CII members, the rate is $175, and for non-industry members, it's $225. But we were able to negotiate a discounted rate for COP members. So if you're not a CII member, but you belong to the COP, you'll be able to get a discounted rate. Next slide, please. And I want you to take a look at the companies that are engaged. Dow, Eastman, Exxon, Chevron. We've got Ontario Power, Shell, a number of really world-class contractors, subject matter experts. So the teams that are coming up with these recommendations have a lot of knowledge and experience that I think you'll find incredibly useful. And the University of Texas and Georgia Tech have also been leading the charge from an academic perspective. You'll see that the program there is really cram-packed with useful, practical information, and we've just started to recommend that people start registering for this. We've also got some sponsorships that CII has for the event, and in the first day we got 2 sponsors sign up. So please go to the website, take a look, and we strongly recommend you attend. I know I will be, and a number of people in the community are already signing up. So we've got our Houston conference and our London conference coming up, and in the next week or two, we're going to have some major announcements about both those events. And so we don't take up any more time, I'm going to pass it over to Mark and let him get his PowerPoint up and do his presentation. So Mark, take it away.
Thanks, Lloyd. Appreciate that. We are iConstruct are members of CII, and we participate quite a bit with ASI Group. So we were just chatting about that a minute ago, that we enjoy working with Lloyd and his people and his group. So my name is Mark Mehta. I'm with iConstruct, and as Lloyd indicated to you, and as we've mentioned before, is that we have something in store for you. We'll bring up our PowerPoint in a minute, but I just want you to be aware that this is going to be a little bit of a special presentation for us. This PowerPoint that you're about to see, it's not an average PowerPoint. We've actually spent quite a bit of time and energy and effort to get this PowerPoint in such a condition that it's really going to be spectacular. It's going to be impressive. We had to outsource some information to get some hey, hold on a second. We're going to have some animations in here and some information that is really going to be hey, we're live. We have some animations in here that's going to be good. It's going to be impressive. You're going to learn. Dude, could you stop? All right, sorry, I apologize. You know, live presentations. So I'm going to bring up the presentation in just a second now. So you got the presentation? We open? I don't got it. So I'm saying I don't have it. Oh, hold on one second. I'm sorry. So I'll open up the presentation so you can take a look at it. But where's the presentation at?
Computer crashed. I'm saying I don't have the presentation.
Well, where's the presentation at?
I don't have it.
What do you mean you don't have it?
It's gone.
Gone? What do you mean gone? Where's it at? We need this. Dude, do you know Sean is going to kill us? We can't do this. This is live. Do you understand? This is live.
Just do it live.
No, I can't do it live. How many?
Do it all live.
Oh my goodness. Do you really expect me to sit here and configure this live? Is that what you want me to do? Is that what you're saying?
I want my job. Do it live.
No, your job's gone already, buddy. All right? I can't do this live. I can't. This is just too complicated. I can't do it live. We're in trouble. There's only one thing left to do, and that is to panic. Oh no, we have to do this live. Okay. By strictly odd coincidence, strictly unrelated, unscripted, live without a net, I happen to have a model called webinar. Strictly unplanned. And when I say unplanned, I mean we've been planning this for a long time. So we're going to have to do this live. I didn't want to do this live. I just wanted to show you a PowerPoint. I know you want to see a PowerPoint. That's what's impressive. We all are impressed with PowerPoints. Who wants to see live software when you can look at a PowerPoint? The only thing better than a PowerPoint is Excel spreadsheets. All right, fine, buddy, you're fired. You know that? Sean's not on. Oh, you're lucky Sean's not here, because, you know, you get to keep your job for another hour. All right, so fine. We're going to do this live, completely unplanned, unrehearsed. And by unrehearsed, I mean I've been practicing this for a couple of days. So we click on a piece of pipe in this model that I happen to have up called webinar, strictly unplanned. And it has a line number here, and it says pipe here. So we got some information. What we're going to do now is this. We are going to move some information around in the model. We're going to take information that exists in the model and move it to an editable tab. We're going to do it with multiple disciplines. We're going to read information from external sources. We're going to do some data manipulation live in the model, unplanned, unrehearsed, Andre. And the AutoMagical part is going to come about halfway through. So the first part is going to be not the most fascinating part, but we're setting up for something I promise is going to be AutoMagical, not as AutoMagical as a PowerPoint, but fine. We'll just do this live. This is an embarrassment. I can't believe this guy. It's hard to find good help. Am I wrong? Brandy, are you there? We need help. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at these ISOs and we're gonna get Navisworks properties. We hit this get Navisworks properties a lot. What it does is it tells iConstruct what properties are available. It doesn't read every property, but it tells you what properties are available. You don't have to have everything selected, but since this is a small model, completely unrehearsed, I can have all those ISOs selected. In general, you would just have one. But what we're gonna do is read this CADWorks tab, and we're going to read the line number. Now, when we go here, we're gonna call it a group. And we're going to use the group quite a bit and the part. The next part is going to be the CADWorks, and now we're going to do the name. The names have been changed to protect the guilty, which is Andre for losing the PowerPoint. Now to do this live, unprepared. Okay, so we're going to create a new model tab called Reconstruct. And when we do Reconstruct, we need to make sure we spell it right with a capital C, Rob. This will be pipe. All right, now we hit save and close. Now, when we sell you iConstruct and we sell it, how much does it cost? We'll get to that later. We give you a blank slate. So this is a blank slate. So I'm gonna get on my high horse just for a second, but we had people say that, hey, you have to have templates. You can't do this without a template. Yes, we can. We can read anything. We can configure anything, read information from multiple sources. Very easy to do. We customize our configurations to your requirements. So we don't have templates that you have to fill out. Instead, you have your template and we will read it. And a part of that is going to be AWP compliant. If you have AWP compliant models, or if you don't have an AWP compliant model, we can make it AWP compliant. If you don't want to be AWP compliant, that's okay too. As long as you're paying us, we'll do it. So now we're going to hit the button here. So we just created this button just now. It didn't exist before. We're going to create a lot of magic buttons. We hit this button here. So what have we done? So we click on this and we look at these properties. Now we have this line number and we can't change this if we wanted to, but now we've created this Reconstruct tab. Now we right click and this is editable. So we didn't have that before. All right, the next part we're going to go to is steel. So we click on a piece of steel. I know that this is steel because I am a construction SME, so I know steel from pipe. That was a joke. So now we have a little bit of information here, but not a whole lot. But we're going to take what we got. So the first thing we have to do is go back into iConstruct. We go into general configuration. And for the record, we're moving extremely fast because we're under a time constraint. It would have been better if we had a PowerPoint, but we don't. Hit OK. This will be item, and this will be name, and this will be part. This will be Reconstruct, RECONSTRUCT with a capital C, Rob. And this is steel. Then we hit, well, first I'll look to make sure I did that right. Close. We select all the steel that we have here, and then this one at the bottom is steel, and I can tell that this is steel because it says steel, because I'm smart. Now we hit the steel button, and it says we updated 43 items. So what did we do with this? So let's take a look. We go into our properties, and we have this Reconstruct tab that didn't exist before. So now it just says part here. Not really all that fascinating yet, but trust me, it is going to be AutoMagical. It's going to be, I'm wearing an AutoMagical shirt right now. My last project, they got me a t-shirt that says AutoMagical on it. So the next part we have to do is mechanical. So we have mechanical equipment, just 4 little pumps. And we're going to take the information that we have available, which is what? We click on the pump and we have this layer. This really doesn't buy us a whole lot, but again, we're going to take what we got. So for the third time, for the last time, we go into, hopefully, unless I mess this up, into integrator configuration. Again, get Navisworks properties to tell us what properties are available. Now we go into the item and the item name. This will be the part. And this will be the item again. This will be the layer. And this will be the group. Now, we call these part and group, and you'll see why, but you can call them anything you like. You can call it Scooby-Doo if you want to. This will be reconstruct. And this will be mechanical. Since I don't know how to spell very well, I'm just going to call it mech. Save and close. Now we grab all the mechanical equipment, grab all this. We go into our integrator mappings, and now this mech button is here. We hit the button. Now what have we done? We click on this, we go to properties. Now in our editable tab, we can change these if we want to, which we're going to. It's still not terribly useful information, is it? So it doesn't tell us a pump name. So we'll have to get to that, won't we? This would be so much easier with a PowerPoint. We could stick to a script then, but no. So let's look at the foundations. We all need foundations. We need fundamentals. I'm big on that. I mess it up a lot, but you know. On this foundation, we have even less information, basically nothing here. So let's say in theory that we had foundation tag names in an external source. We want to read those tag names into the model. So what we found on multiple projects is, and I see some of my old coworkers here, it's kind of neat to see, is that tag names for everything helps. Sounds a little vague there, but on multiple projects, we tagged foundations. Sometimes we use it using iConstruct, and then other times, the planning manager I worked with on my last project, he went to engineering and had them put tag names into the model. But if it's not already in the model, we can add it. How? It'll be AutoMagical. So we're going to create a data link. So remember, it just says integrator mapping, standard tools, and general configuration. Now we're going to create a data link, which is kind of on the easy side. We don't have templates. We don't believe in templates. I happen to have the tag names here already set up, completely unplanned. Andre, that's Andre Perales. He's my, he's the business development guy. So we're gonna tie this to items. This will be to sheet 1. This will be blank. No, we don't want that blank. This will be to reconstruct. This will be, okay, so this action exists is very simple to understand. I'm not going to go into detail because we have a time constraint, but you can say don't override. You can prompt for override where it asks you a question, which we'll see later, or always override. I like to use always overwrite for data links, but if you want more information on that, then pay me and I'll tell you. This will go to the item level. This will go to the GUID. GUID stands for Global Unique Identifier, but oddly, they're not always unique, which is very frustrating. So this will be FNDTAAG, and I hit the caps lock. All right, and we hit save, and then I think we're done. Let me look. Oh, shoot. Yeah, sure. Hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, we'll just blame Andre. So now this data link button is here. That wasn't here before. We hit the button, updated 20 entities. So what do we do? So we click on this. Now we have properties, and now it says group and part. And now we have these part names, which is the tag names that I made up. Now, the first thing we have to do is file save. And if you don't, you should be fired. We go into properties, and now we look. If you're familiar with Navisworks, hopefully you're following along, and you know that we can say this rack, hide unselected. Now we just have the rack, and now at the part level, we have these tag names. AutoMagical. Huh? Are you impressed? I should get a pay raise since Andre's going to get fired anyway. All right, so now let's do this. Let us we are going to turn everything back on. Go into the next thing we're going to do is the pumps. So the pumps didn't have a tag name. We're going to give them all tag names. So we go into standard. We're going to turn off all the pipe. We have to select all the pipe. Later, we're going to improve upon that. But now we're going to give every pump a name. So here's how we're going to do that. Here we go. We're going to make a box. So we change this to box. iConstruct, and now we go into standard tools this time. So we're going to hit Append Data. This will be, again, Reconstruct. With the capital C, that's configurable. You don't have to. I'm just harassing my coworker because he likes to do it with a small c, but that's all right. All right, so this would be the part. And this will be pump dash 3201A. Now we need to turn this on and then apply to items. Is that right? I think it is. All right, so we don't need these advanced features anymore. We can hit OK. Now it asks us, iConstruct is asking us, this is the existing value, 3D solid. This is the replacement value. Which one do you want to be? Which one is more useful, 3D solid or a pump name, a tag, huh? Which one do you think? All right, we'll say yes. It comes up again. So we'll say yes, and it comes up again. So we'll say yes. All right, forget that. We'll just say yes to all. Done. All right, move on to the next one. We gotta move fast. So we grabbed all that. We go to Append Data, and then we go into, we're gonna make this number 2. After 1 comes 2. We're just gonna say yes to all this time because now we've learned. Some people never learn, like Andre. This one will be 32B, and I will refrain from making the Shakespearean joke here. And Append Data, the last one is going to be 31B. And yes to all, and done. Now, what do? File, save. If you do file, save, and then you back up your data, you don't lose PowerPoints. Next, we're going to do steel. We're going to add some information into the steel. So we don't have much information in here, but we're going to take what little we have. I have to change this back to select, click on this, go into properties, and we don't have much in there, but I want to add a group level to this. So we will take all of these happen to be columns. And since I am a construction SME subject matter expert, I know that they are columns because I'm, an expert. Let's see here. All right. This will be the group. This will be columns. And what else do we need to do? I think that's it. Okay. Okay. All of these are beams. I know that these are beams because I am an SME. BEAMS. Okay. Okay. Now what? File, save. Okay. Done. So now we have columns and beams in there. Now for these foundations, as we see in the properties, we read these from an external source. We have a group and we have a part. But for the foundations for the pumps, we don't have a group. So we need a group. We don't need one, but it's always fun to have a group. It's more fun to do things in groups. That's why I go, well, anyway. We won't get into that. So we need to call this, the group will be pumps. And, okay. Okay. So file, save. So what have we done? If you're familiar with Navisworks, you can see some of what we're doing here. We have these ISOs here as a group. Well, that's okay. Now we have columns and beams here as a group. That's whatever. We got this rack separated out, the pump separated out. So if we hit hide unselected, and then we can look at each one of these individually, and we see the actual tag name for them. We did that. That's good, you know. We'll probably do better. Can't do better in iConstruct, tell you that. All right. Now we hit unhide all. And now, so we have pipe and we have steel. And I know pipe from steel because I am a construction subject matter expert. So I know pipe from steel. We have mechanical equipment and we have foundations. Now, it'd be nice if we had the disciplines defined in here. We can take a look and tell what the disciplines are, but it'd be beneficial if we had that information in the model already. So we need to go back to engineering and say, hey, we need to update this with disciplines in here so we can use it. Or we could do it ourselves live. Huh? Who's impressed yet? Nobody? That's what I thought. All right. So we go into select all the pipe, append data. This will now be discipline. DISCIPLINE. The hardest part about doing this live is knowing how to spell words properly. Pipe, and we will hit this is at the item level, hit the go button. Done. Steel and steel. Again, I know that steel because it says steel. So you know what we're going to call it? We're going to call it steel. Creative, huh? All right. These are the mechanical equipment. We're going to hit append data. We'll go in here and call this mechanical. Mechanical. I'm going to spell it out this time. And yes, I did look it up before. And now we're going to do what's left? Foundations, I think. Concrete footings. And which one is the other one? Oh, this one, I think. All right. So I know that those are concrete footings because it says concrete footings. But instead of calling it concrete, we're going to call it civil. Because we're crazy. We're wild people. All right. We hit OK. And then what do? We hit file save so we don't lose data. Losing data is unacceptable. Now we go into here, and now we have these disciplines separated out. So we have civil. We can hit hide unselected, show that. Mechanical, hide unselected, show that. Pipe, hide unselected, show that. And steel, hide unselected, show that. That's great. If we look at all of them, Control H, and we have some stuff left over, I'm leaving it there on purpose so you can see what it does later. Now, we got all this information in here. So we can click on this and we see properties. We have groups, we got parts, we got discipline, groups, parts, discipline, pipe, you got isometrics there. That's, okay. Now comes the fun stuff. You thought it was fun before? This is going to be AutoMagical. It's not as good as a PowerPoint. I know. Everyone's disappointed. People are mad. Andre's going to get fired. Good thing Sean still isn't here. All right, well, fine. So now we go into Reconstruct. So this is the AutoMagical part. We're setting everything up for the AutoMagical Reconstruct. I should have put delay on my voice, huh? All right, actually, I could have done that. So we're not going to get into the advanced features here, but just in brief, we're going to turn off this one here. All this does is put the word user in front of the editable tab. We don't need that. Layers before groups, we're going to check mark that one. I have documentation with what all these mean, and we'll give it to you for free if you pay us. It costs a lot of money too, man. Billions, right, Andre? So layers before groups, the level in which we're going to do things is going to be the lowest level is the part, then the group, and then the layer, and then the model file. So again, the lowest level is going to be the part, and then the group, and then the layer, and then the model file. So we have this information here. Now I'm going to select stuff in the model and go into standard tools. I don't have to select the whole model, but I'm just doing that because it's a small model. Don't do this at home, kids. This will be, we're going to read from the attribute tab reconstruct that we just created. Next, we're going to be the layer will be the discipline. This property, the group will be the group. Creative, huh? You see how this works? And the part name will be what? Andre, what would the part name be? It'll be part. Thank you. All right. Webinar. Save and close. So what is this going to do? Oh, I want to show you something. We're actually running late, but I do want to show you this. So this is a drop down with only 3 possibilities, but these 3 possibilities are extremely useful. So we export everything. We export just what we have selected, or export except hidden, which means everything that's visible. So when we do this reconstruct you're about to see, we can export everything from the model, or we can slice and dice the model just the way we want it. So that's extremely functional and useful. It's only 3 little majiggies in a drop down, but the usefulness is pretty impressive. So now we go to reconstruct. So this reconstruct didn't exist here before. We just created the magic button. Now we'll hit the button. I hope that it works. We're going to call this output. And I want to, while this is running, it'll take about 6 or 7 hours for it to run. But while it's running, y'all got 6 or 7 hours to kill. These configurations we're doing live. Remember that with these configurations, it's a one-time shot. So I'm doing these for you live, unprepared. But once they're done, you don't have to keep doing the reconfigurations, okay? So, oh, it's done. I thought it'd take 6 or 7 hours. We'd have to go to a bar and do the rest of this. So once these configurations are done, you don't have to redo them. We get a new model. All you do is hit the button. That's all you have to do. It's very simple, very easy to use. The configurations are simple as we're doing live, but once they're made, they're made. It's kind of hard to explain that to some people. But now when we click on things and we look here and we can see that absolutely nothing has changed. So now I need to be fired as well. Hey, Lloyd, can I work for you? Steven says he likes it. So now we have a trouble. Now it is time to panic. It is definitely time to panic. No PowerPoint, live without a net, and Andre's getting fired. And I'm getting fired too because I did a reconstruct and it did absolutely nothing. This is an embarrassment. Let's open up this output file and see what it says, okay? Hopefully it's not the exact same thing, because if it's the exact same thing, then again, I should be fired. So we don't want to be the exact same thing. We want to have a new model that's better and improved. We want to earn our money somehow. And our money, can I tell him how much it costs? No? All right. Andre said no. He's not fired yet. So, all right. So now that we've opened up the output file and it looks exactly the same as the input file, this is an embarrassment. Oh my goodness. We click on reconstruct and it has just the same stuff over here. I mean, wow, what was the point? This is a waste of time, other than now we have this in the selection tree. So now we have the disciplines in the selection tree, so we can turn those on and off. Now we did this before, but there was a property. The properties have gone into the selection tree now. How? AutoMagical, right? Now, the stuff that I didn't do is here. So we configured iConstruct to say, hey, I don't know where to put this, so I'm just going to call it no layer, no group, and stuff. And stuff, it's a very technical term. I'll try to teach you that later, but that costs extra money. What's next? Oh, now what else do we have in here? So we click on pipe. Now we have ISOs in the selection tree. We didn't have that before. We had ISOs in the model, but not in the selection tree. What about pumps? You click on a pump, and now we have the pump names in the selection tree. We can look at these just A and B pumps and hide unselected. You can click on one, and it shows you whether it's A or B. Unhide all, and then also with the civil foundations, we can go into pumps, and then you can have these pump pads names here. I hope you can see it turning blue. It's not good to turn blue sometimes. That means you're, choking. But anyway, so now we have all these tag names in here as well. So every one of these is now, let's actually isolate that, hide unselected, and now you can see these tag names. So if all this is collapsed and you just click on one, it expands to the tag name. So do you like my naming convention? Is that pretty creative? Rack O2A. I am very creative. What's next? So now we're going to export data, and we're going to do this quickly. We're going to click on pipe, and remember before when I wanted to select all the pipe, I had to select 14 ISOs. Now we just select one object. We got all the pipe. We couldn't do that before. On the export, there's no export majiggy here, so we're going to create one. We're going to make a magic button. Let me see. All right, so this will be get Navisworks properties. Okay, object type. We're going to do this at the group level. This will be an export to Excel. Everyone loves Excel. This will be the name. This will be required, and this will be a group by, and this will be, so the display name will be item name, because that's very creative and very helpful to construction. Or we could call it the ISO, or you could spell ISO correctly. So when we export this, it'll say ISO, hopefully. When we hit the save button here, ISO export. Okay, close. We have the pipe selected. Now that we have this magic button, we hit the go button. We're going at the speed of light here, people. Which is not much faster than my car, actually. Or Andre's car. My car's faster though. So now we did an export and we have this saved in an Excel spreadsheet. Now we can do lots of exports, but I'm not going to get into that because that's just too easy. We're going to save this. ISOs, enter. Now we're going to read stuff back in. What are we going to read in? Status. This will be IFC. This will be INDESIGN. The hardest part about doing this live is spelling the words correctly. We'll expand these down. Now, I'm going to take a break. This is something, all kidding aside, it does get frustrating for us in that this is configurable. If your statuses are different, that's fine. All kidding aside, we are asked the same question like 10 times in a row by one person saying, well, what if our statuses are this and our statuses are that? Yada, yada, yada. Well, I want to read this. I want to do it for pipe. I want to do it for different rules of credit. I have different material management system. The answer is yes. It is configurable. You want us to be AWP compliant? We can do that. You have your own project management system, project controls, EVMS. Then you have your own rules of credit. We'll read your rules of credit. We don't come out of the box with templates. We configure to your stuff. So that's my rant. How was my rant? Was that all right? All right, thanks. All right, if he didn't like it, you're probably just lying just because, you know, I'll freak out. Now we need to Datalink. So we're going to read this back in. So we go into general configuration and do a Datalink configuration, and the data source will be an Excel spreadsheet. So here we do support ODSP connections. On my last project, we set up ODSP connections directly to the database. This is going directly into a database. If you're a data person, you know what that means. If you're not a data person, then here's your Excel spreadsheet. We hit this button and it goes here. So here's our ISOs. Okay. This is going to go to the group level. This will be sheet 1. This will be iConstruct. Fortunately, Rob can spell iConstruct properly. This will be always override. These again are configurable. I'm not going to get into the details because we got to move fast. So the linking attribute, get Navisworks properties, done. Go here at item. This will be what? Item? Wait, no. Name, right? No. Hold on. Hold on. It's time to panic, people. It's definitely time to panic. So this will be ISO. And this will be status. So this is our linking attribute. And again, if you're a data person, you understood this in 30 seconds. It is hard to explain to some people if they're not familiar with data what a linking attribute is, but any linking attribute that is out there is in the model, no matter where it came from or where it's at in the model. If we did it manually or if we read in from an external source, there's a linking attribute. We can read it in very easily. So we're going to read in status. And what do we want to call status? Well, status, that's not very useful, is it? ISO IFC status, and the hardest part about doing this live is spelling the words correctly. We will call this ISO IFC status. Save and close. Now we hit the go button, which is data links, ISO IFC status. We hit OK. We click on a piece of pipe. We go to our properties, and it's not there. Oh my God. It's broken. It's live and it's broken. Or we can go up a level and then here's iConstruct and there's our status. So now we go to another one and again, it's broken. So if you go up a level and there's our status, or right click, change this setting. And now every time we click on something, it goes to the group level. So now it says IFC, this one says InDesign, this one says InDesign, this one says InDesign. So they're all in design. The designers need to get to work. This one's IFC. So now we have these statuses, but one of the things to explain quickly is that we changed the selection level to look at the group level, but that only helps us if we did a reconstruct first to have the ISOs in the selection tree. If we don't have those ISOs in the selection tree from the reconstruct, it doesn't buy us anything. So we use a Navisworks simulate functionality, but it only really helps after we reconstruct it. Does that make sense? Does anyone understand what I'm saying? So what else would we want to do? Well, the first thing we want to do is file save. We're running late. Okay, so now we have to do a color code, right? So the color code is under color codes. Wait, under general configuration, color code configuration. We're going to read this from Excel spreadsheet because everyone in construction loves Excel spreadsheets. Data, ISO, okay. Template name, ISO, IFC. Apply to groups, Navisworks property, get Navisworks properties, and nothing is selected. Select the pipe, get Navisworks properties, okay. This will be iConstruct? No. This will be item, right? Yeah. Sheet 1, linking property is the name. This is the ISO, and I am running late. This will be IFC. Remember, this is a one-time setup. You don't have to keep doing this over and over and over again. So this will be IFC. This will be equals, and we hit OK. Green is good, so we'll make this green. Actually lime, because lime is very bright. After 15 years of working with this stuff, I know what colors to pick. We do a right click and duplicate row. Please select a row first. I thought I did. This is InDesign, INDESIGN. We'll grab this text, Control C, hit this one here, custom, put this here. This will be equals, okay. And then this will be red because red is bad. Red, okay. Save, and I think we're good. Yes, I want to do that. Okay, so before I do this, I want to save a viewpoint, default DEFAULT, okay. Now we go into selection tree, select the pipe, color codes, hit the go button. And there it is, yay, we made a color code. How long did that take? 5 minutes? It's less than that, huh? So we got a color code. Now we make a save viewpoint. We go to save viewpoint, right click, ISO IFC, okay. Now we can go to our default view and we have the color code view. Now the next thing we need to do is make work packages. And these are going to be the greatest work packages you have ever seen since I am so experienced and awesome at this. Okay, we're going to do this quick and dirty. So this will be iConstruct. Let me see here. Yeah, iConstruct. This will be IWP. This will be IWP-01. Do you like my naming convention? Are you impressed with that? So this will go to the group level, and now we'll do the suction and discharge on the pumps. So is this set properly? Yes. All right. So we hit Control on the keyboard. So we get both ISOs for the suction and discharge. Hit OK. Done. Control H to turn it off. Control H to what the deuce? All right. It was Andre's fault. Append Data, package number 2. Okay. Okay. Control H. This time it works. To the next pump. And we're just doing the suction and discharge on each pump. As a work package, yes, I know these are too small. I know how to make work packages. We can add up the hours for you. I don't have that in front of me. Don't worry, we can do it. And I forgot to turn these off. That's what we'll do it this way. Turn these off. Now to grab the remaining ISOs. There's 4 of them. How did I know there's 4? It's not like I've been practicing. Hit OK. So now we did that. So what do we do? File, save. If Andre had file saved on the PowerPoint, you'd have a PowerPoint, not this live ridiculous stuff, man. All right. So now we did the create work packages. We have to move fast. Now we're going to do an audit. So we're going to do our color code here. We go into general configuration. We're going to make saved viewpoints automated. So we're going to use a filter, audit selection. As always, we have to get Navisworks properties and nothing is selected. Select the pipe, get Navisworks properties. Okay. This will be iConstruct. This will be AWP, zoom all, turn that off. Put your left foot in, put your left foot out. Let me verify. I think this is right now, hopefully. If it's not, because I'm not following the script, I know Sean's gonna get mad and fire us. Follow the script, follow the script. All right, the puppet name will be IWP IFC. Save and close and close. Now we hit the go button and what will it do? Done. So now we go to save viewpoints. We have our default view, we have our color code view, and now we have color codes of every work package individually. So we got to move fast, but just to explain, we can do this by the hundreds. I wish I had more time to explain that, but I don't. Easily. I've done it in production a lot. So the next part is a report. So I have to get a report from an external source. So, you know, there's always that one person, after we make this so easy, they still don't want to touch the model. Well, can you just put that in Excel for me? Or could you put it in a PDF? Yes, we can. Go here, here. Yes, Lloyd, I know we're running late. I said I'd leave 15 minutes and I lied. Now we go into standard tools, look at the report. And this is the last step, Lloyd. And Stephen. So I'm not going to show you the back end of the report because we're running late. Now the report, Rob told me not to tell you what the back end is, but it's a report designer. So we use different ones like Crystal reports or DevExpress and stuff, but hit the go button, it makes a report. Now, this is only 5 work packages, but on a live project, we did this by the hundreds. As a matter of fact, we did it by test packages, we had over 500. Where's my report? There it is. Wait, okay, so you have a report, that's great. So what, who cares? Hit the save button, hit okay. We're gonna just dump this as here, view report, okay. Do you wanna open it? We open this. Now, what's important is this, is that we are now in PDF Exchange and we can hit this button here and we scroll through here. You can see we have a page for every work package with a color code and a legend on it. I happen to have the right legend there, you know, by odd coincidence because all of this is unplanned. We hit this button here and then we can hit page down. Now you can see right here, the work packages numbers changing as well. Has a date on there, and someone gave me this report like 5 years ago. I've been using the same one. I'll give it to you too, free of charge as long as you pay us. That's all I got, Lloyd. Back to you. So, questions?
Thanks so much, Mark. We've got some time for questions, 10 minutes left. Lloyd, did you want to lead us into that section?
No, I think we'll
let take on myself?
Yeah, we'll let the group
All right.
raise the questions, and then you can work with Mark on it. I'm here. I've definitely got my opinions, but I'm not going to I'm not going to ask any questions unless there aren't any from the audience, and I don't think that's going to be the case.
Okay, so one of them is what is the typical training and project setup take? So it takes years. I mean, like 10, 20, 30, 40 years to do this. I'm not even 40 years old. I'm actually 29. I've been 29 for a long time. Typically, it's a 1 week altogether no, I'm sorry, 2 weeks altogether. So we usually do about 2 days of admin training and about 2 days of planner training. And then what project setup, include all inclusive, have it all done usually within 2 weeks. Some of them have been faster, some of them have been slower, but usually we have all it done within 2 weeks. Admin training is about admin training is usually 2 days. I mean, I did one training session where it was, had 8 people in there, but they're all more computer literate than me, which ain't saying much. And we did it in a day and a half. Had to give them some time back. Which one do you want me to do next? Who is typically doing the tagging? Good one, Miss Annabella Martin. I think it's Martin. So excellent question. So we would hope that the tags would all come from engineering, but they don't. So as an example, on 2 consecutive projects on my last TPC, we tagged the foundation names ourselves, which is exceptionally useful in that we could tie it to Primavera if every foundation had their own activity ID. So we did it using iConstruct. On the next project, we found how beneficial it was. So my planning manager, who's on here right now, he went to engineering and said, hey, we need these tagged in the native model. So it should be from engineering, but as I showed you live, we did the pumps tags by manually, which is the one-time shot. You don't have to do it manually going forward. You push it forward when you get a new engineering model. But then I read in the tag names of the foundations from an external source. So it should come from engineering, but if it doesn't, we can do it ourselves. Typically, would you append data definitions if they're typical and can be reused on other models? So the tags are going to change from model to model. But one of the things that is very useful is that iConstruct has something called an ICP. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but called iConstruct configuration profile. So we can dump this out, and this configuration is just a ICP, iConstruct configuration profile, can be read into another iConstruct computer somewhere else, and then you have all these configurations that we just did is saved in that ICP. Could they be reused in other models? Well, oh, yeah, okay. So when engineering updates the model, then we have to start over. So I'm just kidding. Thanks for that one. Very important is that all these configurations that we just did live are still in the model now. So we get a new engineering model, and then we rerun. We just hit the button to do these automations. Now, on top of that, we have another function called BIM Flow. So I'm not going to get into the details of it, but everything that you see here is available in BIM Flow as well. So I'm going to open that just briefly, but we're not going to get into the details of how to run it. Rob Gadbell is the expert at that, but it will take all these functions that we have in iConstruct and then string them together into a workflow. Workflow management. Yeah, so often you would automate this to be like once a week or something, but you can do it as often as you want. You can do it once a day if you want to. You can do it. So here's an example of a workflow where we take all the functions that are available in iConstruct and string them together into a workflow. It is similar to other software that the person who asked this question and I have worked with, but it's a little bit more, we have Boolean loops and such in here. So we have and or loops and things. And plus we can read external information. So we get a new engineering model, all the configurations are done. We can take all the configurations, put them into the BIM flow, then we have a workflow. So all you do is hit one button and all the stuff is done for you. And yes, it is. It takes a little setup, but it actually does work that well. Yeah. So Miss Annabelle had another good question about that. So we are a plugin to Navisworks Simulate. If you buy iConstruct without Simulate, it doesn't do anything. So you have to have Simulate. Or manage, but either one. Huh?
So
oh yeah, so we can read all kinds of files here. So in terms of what we can read, we sorry Lloyd. People ask what kind of file we can open. Well, we can only open Navisworks. Kidding, we can open anything. So well, anything. We can open any of these, all these files you see here, we can open. I'm an expert on all these files. Just kidding. I don't know what most of them mean, but we can open any of these type of files here. Anything that Simulate can open, we can open. Lloyd, did you have a question?
I do. One of the things that we're hearing more and more is that people want to use advanced work packaging on their entire portfolio of projects. So what size projects can your tool be used in? What are the biggest? What are the smallest? Can you give us a sense of that?
Well, bigger's better because then we make more money. With, I'm not sure how much we should say, but with some of the people we're working with, they are utilizing us on smaller projects. There's a cutoff for it. I won't tell you what it is, but so we are used on smaller projects. We are cost effective. However, we do. I like to point this out is that we took a $54 billion project and put that into iConstruct for color codes only. It's just for color codes, not full-blown workface planning. But we did utilize iConstruct on a $54 billion project for color codes, and it ran. It ran slow, but it ran. So we can be used across the gambit. We are unfortunately pigeonholed and said, people say, well, it's only for small projects because you don't have the automations. Well, we do have the automations. A lot of our automations exist only in our software and not elsewhere. We also have AWP reports. I'm not going to pull them up, but we have automated AWP reports as well. So often we're considered to be for small projects, but we can go, we've done mega projects as well. And we're doing the mega projects now. Yeah, we're doing one project that's 1.3 billion right now.
Great, thanks for that. I think we've got time for maybe one more question, and then we're going to have to wrap. So do you want
to? Sure. You got to, let's see. Ms. Sarup, can you show how bolt with 2 different sizes is work here? I don't fully understand that question. Maybe you could send me a comment or something. Yes, so there is an append function. This is simulate function here. So you can append. Oh, that was great, huh? 2 minutes left. That was awesome. Can you read in other information as well? Can you join multiple assemblies in a structure and create one larger? Definitely, yes. So that is something that we can do using our Reconstruct. So when it's actually a common thing that we do often is that we'll get information from multiple sources, from vendors and from engineering, from different vendors, and then it takes a little bit of upfront effort. But once we get that information loaded into iConstruct, we do the configurations. Once we get new information, the configurations are done. We can just move forward with that. But yes, what we can do is take information from multiple sources using Reconstruct and create an NWD just with that information that you need. All right, so,
Okay, so I want to thank Mark for his presentation and iConstruct. I think what we saw was you can do this. And it's not a 2-week exercise. It's quick, fast, and flexible. So if you have any additional questions for iConstruct, you can either send them to us and we'll direct them back, or you can reach out directly to iConstruct. But again, want to thank Mark for a great presentation and got it done in exactly the right amount of time, even with hiccups, eh? So thanks again, and we'll see you all in a week.
Hey, Lloyd, I have one more question though for you.
Sure.
Since we lost the PowerPoint, are y'all hiring?
We'll talk.
We'll talk. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, iConstruct is cost effective. I had to throw that in there. Hope you don't mind.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Bye now.
Bye.